In the turbulent 1930s, families faced not only economic hardship, but also growing concerns over theft and security. Grandparents learned to hide their valuables in ways that would make even the most determined intruders think twice. These methods weren't just clever, they were born of necessity, combining ingenuity, practicality, and an understanding of human behavior. For anyone interested in historical survival techniques or practical household security, these hidden storage strategies offer insight into resourcefulness and resilience in a time of uncertainty. One of the most effective methods was disguise. Grandparents didn't rely on safes alone. They turned ordinary items into secret compartments. Hollowed-out books, tins, or even furniture with false bottoms became trusted repositories for money, documents, or jewelry. For example, in kitchens, it was common to see biscuit tins used to conceal coins, folded currency, or family papers. The key to success wasn't secrecy alone. It was seamless integration. A thief rifling through a shelf might never think to open a tin clearly labeled as cookies, nor would they suspect a thick leather-bound ledger of hiding cash. In practical application today, anyone studying historical storage techniques can recreate this by examining furniture and household items from the period and identifying modifications that could serve as hidden compartments. Many homes in the 1930s featured clever architectural storage, especially in regions of Europe where economic uncertainty and wartime tensions were rising. Floorboards were lifted to reveal shallow cavities for coins or small heirlooms. Hollow spaces behind baseboards or under staircases served as long-term hiding places for family documents or personal effects. In one documented case, a Polish family built a removable section of the staircase to hide ration cards and cash, a method that remained undetected for years. Modern historians can apply this knowledge by carefully examining period homes, looking for irregularities in floorboards, walls, or staircases that suggest concealed spaces. Grandparents often combined functionality with security. Furniture such as armoires, trunks, and dressers were not only used for storage but also modified to include hidden drawers or false panels. A classic example is the wardrobe with a false back panel, which created a cavity large enough to hold papers, clothing, or even small weapons. Trunks often had secret compartments beneath the lining or inside double bottoms. For today's enthusiasts, inspecting antique furniture from the 1930s can reveal these clever modifications, providing insight into both design and the ingenuity required to keep valuables safe in a period of instability. You know, many of these storage solutions were designed around the predictable behavior of thieves. Intruders tend to check the obvious hiding spots, like drawers, safes, and of course, under mattresses. Grandparents really turned this expectation against them. Small valuables were tucked away in places thieves wouldn't even think to inspect: a hollow curtain rod, a false candle, or maybe a stack of unused tins down in the cellar. This principle can still be applied today when we look at historical storage. Understanding the mindset of a potential intruder explains why some compartments were so cleverly hidden, often right there in plain sight. Cellars and attics, well, they were classic choices for concealment. Families would hide items under floorboards in the cellar or behind loose roof panels up in the attic. These spots were usually avoided by burglars because they were hard to get to or just didn't seem valuable, making them perfect for storing things that were important but not too big. In some cases, folks even built removable panels or hidden chests that blended right in with the structure. For anyone studying history, paying attention to these less obvious areas can really show how everyday architecture was adapted for security. Grandparents often found creative ways to repurpose cleaning tools and maintenance items. For example, hollow broom handles or metal pipes could be used to hide rolled-up documents or small valuables. Even containers for coal, flour, or grains were pressed into service to conceal money or ration stamps. This method worked by blending valuables with objects that were handled all the time but rarely given a second thought. For a history enthusiast, exploring these methods gives a real window into both daily life and the practical survival strategies families relied on during tough economic and social times. In some cases, storage wasn't stationary. grandparents learned to carry essential items discreetly or relocate them quickly in case of threat. Pockets sewn into clothing, hidden pouches in bags, or small lockboxes were moved from house to house or buried temporarily in garden plots. This mobility demonstrates an understanding of risk and strategic planning that went beyond static storage. For practical application today, historians or survivalists can analyze contemporary equivalents, learning how families balanced accessibility with security. To prevent forgetting where hidden items were stored, some families developed coded methods of recording locations. Diaries, letters, or household ledgers contained subtle clues readable only to those who knew the code. This ensured that secrets could be retrieved safely without leaving obvious evidence. For anyone researching historical practices, these records provide valuable context on both domestic literacy and security strategies. The most sophisticated 1930s storage methods often involved layers of concealment. An item might be hidden inside a false bottom drawer, which itself was tucked behind a movable panel in the attic, covered by a pile of ordinary objects. This redundancy meant that even if one layer was discovered, the main treasure remained safe. Observing these layered techniques, offers insight into strategic thinking during a period when resources were scarce and theft was a real threat. Finally, these storage methods weren't just about hiding. They were also about preservation. Coins were wrapped in cloth to prevent corrosion, documents were stored in sealed metal tins, and textiles were kept dry to avoid mold. Understanding how materials were protected, adds a layer of depth to studying these techniques, revealing that grandparents were thinking ahead not just about security, but also about maintaining the integrity of what they valued. In conclusion, the secret storage strategies of the 1930s reveal an extraordinary combination of ingenuity, practicality, and foresight. From disguised household items and architectural modifications to layered concealment and mobile storage, these methods provide a detailed window into how families protected what mattered most during times of uncertainty. For anyone studying history or seeking inspiration for practical security techniques rooted in historical precedent, these examples offer both guidance and a tangible connection to the past. If you found this guide valuable, make sure to subscribe to Warpaths of Europe and share it with fellow history enthusiasts. There's a wealth of knowledge hidden in plain sight, and together we can uncover it one story at a time.